Hello, dear all. I am Sandeep Chaudhary from Pune. Dear students, now we are going to start second part of this topic, father returning home. In today's video, I am going to explain detailed information about the poet, and we are going to explain both the stanzas of the poem. So, let's start. Father returning home. This poem is written by Dilip Chitre. Let's see more information about his life. Basically, Dilip Chitre born in Baroda in Gujarat on 17th September 1988. He was died on 10th September 2009. Dilip Chitre is considered one of the most famous bilingual poet who used to write in Marathi as well as English. He had other skills like painting and filmmaking, but due to some reason, his family shifted Baroda to Mumbai in 1951. Afterwards, he took education and started his career in various fields, including literature and poetry. His first publication of poem in 1960. Now let's see what is the poem about. Father returning home. Though the title is very familiar, it looks very simple, but the feeling behind it, the theme behind it, it is completely different. This is alienation of the elderly in the modern world. We see various changes due to modernization in our society. And alienation, being a member of the family, other members consider that person unknown. It is called as alienation. And afterwards, due to old age, these people become isolated. So this problem is highlighted in the family in this poem. Estrangement from family, loneliness in modern cities, modernization, loss of historical and cultural identity, and this setting of the poem, it took place in Mumbai. Let's see first stanza of the poem in detail. See, this poem has around 25 sentences. The poem look like prose, and it is very simple to get the meaning. It is not so much complicated. Poet has used alliteration, transfer epithet in this poem, but the meaning, the syntax of the poem or the sentence is very simple, lucidly and clearly he has presented. See, my father travels on the late evening train, standing among silent commuter in the yellow light. Suburb slides past his unseeing eyes. In the first sentence itself, there is a alliteration. Travel train. So my father stand for those person who are old, aged people, who are still continuously working for the family. They are going to offices and returning home late in the evening. And you know that in Mumbai, the lifeline train is the most important public transportation. So this old person return home taking late evening train. He's really tired in the office. He has continuously worked, but when he returned, still he didn't get place in the train in that compartment. So he has to standing among silent commuters. So this father is standing amongst passenger in the yellow light inside the train compartment. This line is indicative of his suffering due to the journey. After working so hard, he is returning home standing on the footboard as he does not get a seat there to relax. Even nobody offered him a seat. Nowadays, how people actually, it is the duty of the younger children. Whenever we find any old people standing in the bus, train, we must offered. Actually, it is our moral responsibility. We ought to offer them seat. We have to take care of them. The yellow light is not the best thing either to promote any cheerfulness. All these things further intensify his agony and make the journey monotonous. In second line also there is alliteration, standing and silent. Again third sentence the same thing. So continuously in each sentence you will get alliteration, this figure of speech. The suburbs are sliding past the moving train, but the poet's father has no intention to look at those. He is unmoved by these senses. For he has seen those many a times and find nothing new or interesting in it. So the sliding landscapes also add to the sense of monotony. Unseeing eyes. Dear student, here in this passage we come to know that his shirt and pants are soggy, and his black raincoat, stained with mud, and his bag stuffed with books, is falling apart. His eyes, dimmed by age, fade homeward through the humid monsoon night. Do students see here? Here is in this paragraph, in this stanza, poet has explained description, appearance of this old man, father, his costumes, his pant, his shirt are both are soggy, and his raincoat is stained with mud. It shows that even at home also nobody take care of his cloth. Nobody is cleaning the raincoat properly. It shows that nobody is concerned about the father in the family, and that is why his shirts and pants are soggy and the bland raincoat is stained with mud. Even his bag is stuffed with books. What is the reason the father tries to carry books with him every day? Because whenever we get time, when we are alone, it is better to read books. When nobody talk, when we feel isolated, alone, books are our best friend. And maybe it may be the reason father always carries bags, books in his bag. Those are stuffed with in the bag is falling apart. Even the condition of the bag is very old. It may be torn out immediately because the books are stuffed inside. His eyes dimmed by age. His eyes dimmed by age. Now look, eyes dimmed by age, it also reflect that father's physical condition deteriorating, becoming worse day by day due to old age. And so here in this passage, in this stanza, poet explain these lines are again indicative of difficulties a poet's father has to face during his journey. It gets even worse in the rainy season. The black raincoat might indicate lack of color in his dull life. Color represent happiness. Black color represents sorrow. So this old man's life is colorless. Again, his bag full of books hints that he was an educated and scholarly man, not the unimportant that one would think from his ordinary routine journey. The poet gives us an impression of his father's age. His eyesight is dimmed by his old age. The father looks homeward with his low vision through the humid monsoon night. Now, students, it is very important to learn this line. Fade homeward through humid monsoon night. Now here, humid, this is adjective and which is transferred with monsoon night. This is example of transfer epithet. Now transfer means to transfer with other word. Epithet means adjective. So here in this sentence humid, this adjective is applies to another word, another phrase, and so it is called as transfer epithet. Even in earlier stanza, there is one more example of transfer epithet. I will repeat it. Suburb slides past his unseeing eyes. Now the unseeing is transferred to eyes actually. The eyes are seeing, but his mind is not resisting any sight. So the quality of not seeing is given to eyes. And so this is one more example of transfer epithet. Even there is alliteration also, homeward and humid. So in this stanza, we learn transfer epithet. Let's continue. Now I can see him getting off the train. Look, a word dropped from a long sentence. He hurries across the length of the grey platform, crosses the railway line, enters the lane. His chappals are sticky with mud, but he hurries onward. See, students, in this poem, the character which is presented by the poet, he is taking example of father. Father means everyone, everyone's father. Dear student, you have to notice your father's condition. Are you doing the same thing, or does the all same thing happen with your father? It may be the reason. Father gave example of his own father. So here the poet's father gets down from the train. Here Dilip Chitri has used the fine simile in comparing his father to an unimportant word in a long sentence, like a word dropped from a long sentence. So, like is used here comparing two things. He's dropping down from the train, like dropping a word from the long sentence. So, there is a direct comparison, and it is example of simile. In this sentence, father is considered as a unimportant word. This is quite unique. He says that his father gets down just like a word dropped from a long sentence. The poet indicates how important his father is to the crowd in the train. It does not really make any difference whether he got down or not. He is not that relevant to the rest of the world. After getting off the train, the father hurries towards his home. He crosses the grey platform. Now, here, students, grey also suggests old age, dullness, sordidness of father's life. He crosses the grey platform, the railway lane, and finally enters the lane. His sticky with mud chappals can't prevent him hurrying onward. Father returned home. Immediately he's hurrying, returning home. It shows that he's really worried about children. He want to see children. He want to talk to them. Maybe there is a passion to return immediately. The poet has used the word hurries twice to bring a sense of escapism from the dull, humid atmosphere, the great platform, and muddy streets where no one would care for him. He just wants some solace at his own home. He wants comfort, he wants to take rest, and maybe that is why he immediately tries to return home. Home again, I see him drinking weak tea, eating a stale chapati, reading a book. Students, now here we come to know that pitiable condition of father. How father was treated in this family. Drinking weak tea. Weak means here tasteless. Now this is example of personification. Tea cannot become weak. Actually, we consider fat, tall, weak. These are the human qualities. But poet applies these human qualities to non-living thing, that is tea. So this is example of personification. Eating stale chapati, reading a book. Now here, from this sentence, second stanza starts. Father returning home begins here, and in this stanza, the poet depicts the isolation of his father in his own home. Poet sees his father reach home like the other days. Then he sees him drinking weak tea, tasteless tea, and eat a stale chapati. Stale chapati means here, this is the example of sinagdaki. Now, sinagdaki means stand for whole. Stale chapati stand for stale food. So there, here is another figure of speech, sinagdaki. Even there is code mixing, stale and chapati. English and Hindi word are mixed. So this is example of code mixing. He sees drinking weak tea, tasteless tea, eat still chapati. The poet hints at how nobody cares for him even at home. But the man does not have any complaint with his tea or food as he used to it. As we see his father here try to eat, this is all nonsense. But why all these things are useless? Nobody is taking care of what is father taking. He rather concentrates on reading a book while having his tea. He has probably given up and expecting more care from his family members. And so, father, when drinking tasteless tea, he preferred to concentrate on book, the lesson which is he reading. He don't bother about whether the family members are taking care of him or not. He goes into the toilet to contemplate man's estrangement from a man-made world. Here, the speaker's father goes into the toilet with a thought of how men became isolated from the man-made world. And in this line nearly sum up the theme of the entire poem. The father is indeed aware of his estranged situation and hopes to find some support in the family when he hurries towards his home, but the hope is diminished as he reaches and finds the same indifference there. Moreover, toilet might act as a symbol of how small his world has been. Father contemplating, consider, think deeply in toilet. That is the small place for his father in this house, and that is why toilet also indicate this scope of his life, his limitation in the family. So, moreover, toilets might act as a symbol of how small his world has been. The toilet seems to be the only place the man has to go to contemplate over his loneliness. Coming out, he trembles at the sink, the cold water running over his brown hands. A few droplets cling to the graying hairs on his wrist. Tremble. This one you must have heard about onomatopoeia. So, trembles, the word which expresses sound and movement. Bang, twitter, rustle. So, all these words express sound and movement which are considered as a onomatopoeic word. And when poet use onomatopoeic word in the sentence, it is called as onomatopoeia. This is the name of the figure of speech. Let's see meaning now. Father comes out from the toilet and goes to wash his hands at the wash basin. The speaker observed him trembling at the sink when cold water was running down his brown hand. His trembling might be due to his old age, the coldness of the water, also fearful thought of his isolation from the rest of the world. A few drops of water clinging to the grey hairs on his wrist may have some greater implication. Water generally symbolizes life, and grey hairs stands for the old age. So the old man's life is just holding to his old age. This life has no significance to anyone else. His sullen children have often refused to share jokes and secrets with him. He will now go to sleep, listening to the static on the radio dreaming. See, now this is the ending part of the poem. Now poet Dilip Chitre want to explain feeling of this old man, his father. The poet goes on talk about the old man's relationships to his family members. His bad tempered. Sullen children? Sullen means bad tempered. His bad tempered children refuse to share jokes and secret with him. That said, they don't share a close and friendly association with their father. Rather, they regard him as an outdated, unwanted burden, though he seems to be the only earning members of his family. On his ancestors and grandchildren, thinking of nomads entering a subcontinent through a narrow pass. Dear student, now this is the ending of the poem. Poet want to explain hope of the future and thinking of the past in last three stanza, last three lines. Ancestors means old people, ancients forefather you can consider. Subcontinent means transferring from one continent to that other part of the continent. We are here in the final stage of the poem here. Now we see father going to sleep listening to the radio and thinking of many things like his ancestors, his grandchildren, and of Aryans, the people entering in Indian subcontinent through the Khyber Pass in the ancient time. Thus, the poem Father Returning Home by Dilip Chitre sympathizes with the old, despised, neglected people in our society, those who are ignored by everyone. No doubt, his message is well delivered here. The poem has given the poet a lot of respect and popularity through all these years. Students, we have completed detailed analysis of this poem. I hope you could understand the meaning of the poem. Thank you so much.